Kirsten Deane is director of an organisation called Every Australian Counts. It's a lobby group over the National Disability Insurance Scheme. Kirsten, good morning to you.
Hi John, thanks for having me.
First of all, anything in the budget about the National Disability Insurance Scheme?
Yeah, so what we saw in the budget last night, that the NDIS is not only funded in this budget, but across the forward estimates. So it means it's funded in the budget to come. And so we were really pleased to see that. We were pleased to see that the NDIS has, become a permanent feature of the Australian, social and economic landscape. And we were pleased to hear the Treasurer say that every single dollar and cent that was needed for the NDIS will be there and always will be. So our message to the Treasurer this morning is that we are going to hold you to that. We're not just interested in this budget, but we're interested in all the budgets to come. And we will be very vigilant in making sure that the funding for the NDIS stays there and there is no walking away from the scheme.
Okay, the Medicare levy increase that was abandoned would have pumped a whole lot of extra money into it. Is there any relationship between the bureaucracy and what's turning into a very indecisive hierarchy on the one hand and the amount of money they've got to spend on the other? Or put a different way, if they had more money, would the system work better, or would it still be as complex as it is?
I think they're two separate issues, John. Good. The first is that we've got to have the funding for the scheme so that people with disability can get the supports and the services they need to get out and do the things that they want to do. So that's what we were looking for in the budget, to make sure the funding for the scheme that goes to people with disability was there. So that's what we saw last night. The second issue is how the scheme is being rolled out. And what we did see in the budget last night is that there isn't any change, for example, to the number of staff who are going to work at the NDIA. That's still capped going forward. And so what people with disability and their families tell me is that they really want to see the kinds of delays that you've heard about on your program sorted. And one of those ways is to make sure that the NDIA has the staff they need to do the job.
Well, it might be they've got too many staff. I noticed that the government cut $85 million from the ABC, saying it'll make the ABC more efficient. Could you make the NDIS more efficient by cutting its funding rather than increasing it?
Look, I think nobody who's a person with a disability or a family member would want to see a big, fat, bloated bureaucracy. That is not what we fought for. But I also don't think it makes any sense for the NDIA not to have the people that they need to do the very big job that they've got to do over the next couple of years. This is a very unique period in the life of the NDIS, in that you have to bring in 460,000 Australians with a disability into the scheme. And once that's done, you won't ever have to do that job again. You'll just have, newly acquired disabilities or children born with disabilities.
Sure, so this is the teething problems explanation.
This is the bubble. This is the bit where everybody who's eligible for the scheme has to come in a relatively short period of time. It doesn't feel like it to people with disability and their families.
Sure doesn't.
It doesn't feel short at all. But in public policy terms, it is a very short period of time. And so it's not just that we think that in order to reduce the delays, the NDIA needs some more staff, but they definitely need to do something about their training of their staff as well. We recently conducted a survey with people with disability, their families, people who work in the sector, and more than 2,200 people answered our survey. So
wow.
We heard very strongly from people about what they wanted to see fixed from the scheme. We've heard a lot from the NDIA and from Pollies about what they think needs to be fixed.
Yep.
And what Every Australian Counts did was go out to the people who really matter, people with disability and their families, and say, what are your priorities? What do you want to see fixed?
Okay, so you're still sounding optimistic. Let's stay in touch. Thank you, Kirsten. Kirsten Deane from Every Australian Counts.